that in itself, affects your mood. There's so many things that people don't really stop to think about that affect your mood and your functionality from day to day. And most of it is stuff that you don't even know. 75% of the things you're saying are not coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hitch.
So we just call it Hitch and an academic book in the same podcast.
Shout out to Alex Hitchens, Will Smith. I watched that movie faithfully.
Okay. Light blue is the color most linked to creativity. Sky blue is the most calming shade of blue to help a person relax. Colorpsychology.org.
Exactly. So we got our bibliography on out here.
Yeah.
And think about that, because if you go to like job interviews and court sessions and things like that, if you go to court, you'll see a lot of business people always wearing blue suits because it's a trustworthy color. And so it's a calming color and stuff like that. So always always keep in mind what you're doing. Stay conscientious of the people that you're around. I don't know how much time we got left. I know we don't want to get too
like 15 minutes
too deep into stuff, but yeah,
Oh, that's good though, because this is us actually showing what we've studied. Like a lot of times people make assumptions and say things, but it's not fact checked or studied or researched. And what we want to tell you guys is that we're actively studying and researching things as well. If you guys have questions for us over what we mean, or you need resources and things, or you have pushback, if you have a different study, like for real, show us. That's one of the best ways you can to learn something better, is to argue it, because you have to understand its benefits and its detractions, if that's a word. So yeah, we really want to make sure that we're connecting with you all, and that we're able to show our work, and just show that we know. Well, we may not know all of what we're talking about, but we know enough. What we do know, we know. And that's about it.
And we're engineers. Better make sure that we'll make up some stuff to make it sound like we know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Be like, yo, you just forgot to carry the 2 fans. That's all it is.
Yeah,
There's no 2 there. You draw this.
We'll make you believe.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, most definitely. And again, a big thing for me too is getting feedback. Like, to anybody who listens to this, please give us feedback, comments, argue back, different studies, different things, because we're all learning and in progress. And that didn't make sense. I know what I was trying to say, but it didn't come out right.
We're all developing.
Right, absolutely. And today and for the last week or so, I've been consciously telling myself to stop procrastinating doing certain things, because I know, if I'm telling myself that in my head, then my actions will reiterate that, without me having to try so hard. So if I'm actually telling myself, hey, get up and go get this done, and then I feel better about myself too, because it got done. Do this for an hour, do this for a few minutes, go do it. Don't wait till this gets done. Go do it now. Everest College, you're not doing anything anyway.
You're sitting on your couch. You're at home, not doing nothing.
So, and it's helped me, because even at work today, like, and this, I'm telling you, this mind priming thing is real. And just sitting here thinking about it, like, at my office, we have just a handful of people. In the Dallas office, there was a handful of people, and so what would happen was everybody kind of sat by themselves and didn't really interact with each other and didn't really talk and anything like that. Everyone was in their own little pocket and didn't speak, and that that plays out throughout the entire setting of things, because
individuals doing
right. You have individualism there. Nobody really interacts with each other. Nobody really communicates with each other, and that turns into habit because of the priming that's going on. And you never really interact with each other, and so I mean, like this week, I've taken it upon myself to just take initiative to learn more about the process engineering that I do, and wanting to learn deeper into certain facets of it. That way I can make myself a stronger asset to the company. Mm-hmm. And having to tell myself to do that is hard, because all I really want to do is get out, go home, study about whatever. Studying about other stuff to formulate my escape plan. I hope nobody from my job listens to this, but that's what most people do on a regular basis anyway. I think I don't know what you do on your job, but that's what I was doing before. But now it's like I'm gonna definitely consciously tell myself to study these manufacturer manuals and things like that, so I know that they know their standards and know their procedures. That way I can just make myself a better, more valuable to my company, until whenever. So
yeah. So 3 things that I noticed in the story you just told is, 1, going back to conscious and unconscious brain. When you have a setting where everybody's an individual, especially in something with engineering where one person can't do it all, if you're not forced to collaborate, when somebody challenges what you have to do, because you've always been seen as an individual, you're seen as you're attacking them because you've never been a part of the team and you never had to collaborate with anybody. So that's one thing. 2, one of our brand initiatives is that we love to innovate. We love innovation. We love doing things better. And so by taking it upon ourselves to learn more about the craft that we do, we're able to innovate new ways to do that. It's very hard to innovate things when you don't have a full grasp of what's already going on. You can't really change things until you finally know what's going on. Because you might change one thing and that might affect something down the road that you haven't even learned yet. And 3, making yourself indispensable. That's something that we've talked about within past 2 or 3 weeks, is really looking at our jobs and making ourselves indispensable. I know we both have, and for myself, I'm in a process of learning something about metering. EPS metering is what I'm over right now, and that's not a secret. You can look me up. It's no big deal. But what I want to do is be able to go into this field while I'm there and literally become so invaluable and do my job so well that if I were to ever leave, they would literally have to be like, no, we have to have you stay. So applying that to your own daily lives. 1, all your actions are byproducts of your brain. So when you do things, make sure you understand why you do them. 2, be the best you can be at whatever you're doing at all times. 3, just because it's been done like this for forever doesn't mean it has to be done like this for the rest of time. So continue to look for ways to innovate, continue to look for ways to do things better, more efficiently, saving money, saving time, etc., and etc.
Yeah, definitely, because bosses will always love you more if you can save them money.
Exactly. And you have to, another thing, learn to frame it in ways, because a lot of times when you save bosses money, it's not that you saved it, they just didn't have to spend it. So you have to learn how to spend that in a way. I learned that today, because I saved my company over $3 million, but I don't get any of it because it's money that we didn't save. It's just we didn't spend it.
Right. It's just it will be allocated to something else.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm currently listening to the audiobook of 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
Yeah.
And hey, that book is interesting. and here's why. How much time we got left? Like 5 minutes?
7.
Oh. So here's the... I'm not going to take all 7 minutes. But
I was
here's
like,
the
dang,
thing.
you going to take all 7?
No. Here's the thing that's interesting about that book. It teaches, and this is going to sound completely wrong, but it teaches to use deception as a tool. Some of the premise of that book is teaching to use deception as a tool
and
of
discretion.
And discretion. And like, so one of the things about what we just said about bosses, saving bosses money. I think like the first law was not to overstep the boundaries of your boss or superior.
Yeah.
However they put it in the book. But that was what the premise of it was. Not to make yourself look better than the master is what it says. Mm-hmm. And so that's interesting because your boss really doesn't know it all a lot of times, and that's where you can come in and be a true expert at what you're doing, but don't make him look bad.
Yeah, because if you make
or
him
her,
look good,
don't make him or her look bad.
Yeah, if you make him look good, y'all both look good. He'll be happy about it.
Exactly, and then you move up anyway, mm-hmm. Because then you make yourself indispensable. Mm-hmm. But I will continue on reading that book, and that'll probably take me. I think it's a 9-hour.
Dang,
it's
I didn't know it was that long.
It's a 9-hour audio book, and I'm at like 3 hours and some change.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, and I'll probably end up listening to it again. I'm sure because it's got some cool little tricks in there. But the whole thing about using deception as a tool. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Don't listen to everything you hear because that's riding some.
That's ethics and all.
Right. That's riding some odd waves with me, but I mean it's still cool though, and so.
And right now, like I told you, I'm reading Thinking Slow and Fast by Daniel Kaufman or whatever his name is. I forgot. I'm sorry if I butchered your
Daniel Kamehameha.
Kamehameha.
Right.
And that's where I got all this stuff about brain palming from. I'm like in the first 60 pages, so if you read that book, you will be informed. So, lastly, thank you guys for listening to our podcast. Thank you for sticking with us to the end. We'll be coming back with more stuff like this in the future, and you'll be seeing more from us as we continue to grow and learn more. Follow us on Instagram, StaleFace Inc. On Twitter's StaleFace StaleFace _Inc. Snapchat StaleFace _Inc. Website StaleFaceInc.com. Email. All right. Yo, listen. Hey, just follow us on Instagram, man.
Right. We'll facilitate everything else.
Exactly.
Just follow us on Instagram.
If you want any other information, just DM us on Instagram, and we'll dish.
And again, please, give us feedback for sure. We like hearing from people, and it's very, informative and organic, conversation. Mm-hmm.
Good.
And just reiterating what he said, what you're doing right now doesn't mean that it always has to be done that way. Exactly. Definitely step outside the box. And especially if you're somebody who hates your job, then go find a better way to do it. You don't have to sit there and hate your job every day. Go find a better way to do it,
Or find another job.
Right.
So, yes, that's a whole nother episode. But, yes, follow us on Instagram, StaleFaceInc.com, and we will see y'all next week with another podcast. So, yeah.
Birds.